this is Foodie Hemsel, and this week I'm going to be showing you a Bakewell tart. 200 grams of plain flour and half the amount of fat. So you are going to do 50 grams of Trex and 50 grams of your vegan or vegetarian. The next thing you are going to do is you're going to need a filling. So I would suggest 2 tablespoons of your 50 grams of caster sugar, 50 grams of self-raising flour, and then you can use a few drops of, traditionally would be used almond essence. However, if you wanted to use something a little bit different, you could go for orange essence or maybe a lemon essence, just to change things a little bit around. You'll also need 1 egg and 50 grams of cleaning time. Wipe your surfaces with a warm, soapy cloth, and then use an antibacterial spray to spray down your surfaces, ready for cooking. To start off with, you're going to sift your 200 grams of plain flour into your bowl. This will get rid of any lumps, and if there's anything in there that shouldn't be in there, you'll be able to see it at this stage. You're now going to be doing the rubbing in method. So coat your fat over with your flour, and you're going to use a little bit of margarine and Trex with a lot of flour, and basically you're doing the action money with your fingertips until it's gone into fine breadcrumbs. Top tip would be, if you tap the base of your bowl, any large lumps will come to the surface and you'll be able to see that in order to break it down. And also, if you lift your bowl up and look underneath, you'll be able to see if there's any flour that hasn't yet been mixed in. Okay, so back to the pastry. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water, cold water, and give it a stir until it starts to come to a dough. Tip your bowl slightly to help it out. And then add 1 more tablespoon just to help it bring together. Could take an extra tablespoon, however I think mine's already come together with 3 tablespoons of cold water. And this needs to go into the fridge, say half an hour, in order to have a little bit of relaxation time. Okay, so you've got 50 grams of margarine, 50 grams caster sugar, 50 grams of self-raising flour, and also you're going to crack 1 egg into there. This is the all-in-one method, so it's absolutely fine. You're just going to be using a mixing spoon, and you're going to stir your ingredients together until you can no longer see your egg, your margarine. Looks like a cake mix. By whisking or mixing round like you are, you're actually aerating your mixture, which means you are trapping air into it, which will cause a nice sponge mixture. Do not forget to add your few drops of either your almond essence or your lemon essence or your orange essence, whichever you've opted for. You could be creative and add a few drops of colouring. Squash any margarine lumps against the side, otherwise this will create big holes in your sponge, and we want little air pockets, not great big ones. So that's my cake mix. I still need to add my few drops of almond essence. Add a capful of your almond essence, or lemon or orange, and mix in thoroughly to give that nice smell and flavour. Okay, so the next stage, once your pastry has been in the fridge for 30 minutes, you're going to dredge your surfaces with flour. Place your pastry on there, dredge your pastry with flour as well so that it doesn't stick, and then you're going to roll gently And the marble effect that you're seeing is actually the fat trapped within the flour. To make your pastry sweet, you would have added maybe a tablespoon of sugar to your water. So roll it one way, roll it the other, till you're about, I would say, a pound thickness coin. You could put your pound thickness coin around as you're rolling over the top of it. This would ensure equal thickness. And now flour dredge your surface for the last time of your pastry, and then you're going to wrap it around your rolling pin very, very gently. Get your tin near your rolling pin, pick your dough up and unroll your dough. Use your pastry like a bit of fabric and basically be draping it into your tin. If you do get any tears, which could happen, okay, then what you can do is just use a little bit of water and a little bit of excess pastry just to go over those cracks and be able to cover those cracks. Go round the edge of your pastry, that's the outer edge, with your knife. The reason you're doing your outer edge is because your pastry will shrink back naturally when cooking. Okay, so we don't end up with a soggy bottom, we're just going to use a fork just to lightly prick the base to stop any air pockets forming. So 2 tablespoons of jam is approximately 30 millilitres. So I'm going to use a 10mm spoon, which is a dessert spoon, so I'm going to use 3 of those. I've got the seedless jam. And then using the back of my spoon, I'm just going to do the base of my pastry. I'm going to spoon my mixture over the top of my jam. Just use a spatula to get those last bits out. Use a knife just to go over the top of the jam. Be careful that you are actually scraping the top of the cake mixture and not the jam underneath. That should spread out evenly in the oven. So get yourself a chopping board, flour dredger required. You're going to roll out your dough, but this time you're going to be rolling in strips. If it starts to stick, use a little bit of flour dredger. Now, my top tip is to use a pizza cutter, but if you haven't got one of those, then a sharp knife will be adequate. And basically cut yourself some strips. I would say about 1.5 centimetres, 15mm. Okay, and then it's quite easy to pick them up because obviously you floured it. And then what you're going to do is you are going to twist your strips, okay, and lay them on the board like so. Just pushing it down to stop them untwisting. Tray forward, a little drop of water is always good. Okay, choose your best strips. I'm going to lay them over the top where you want it to go. Okay, try not to move them too much once you're done, because otherwise you'll just pick up cake mix. Okay, and place them in a noughts and crosses style. So a little drop of water just to make sure it sticks so it doesn't come undone. Okay, again, this is again, and you could put cherries in between each one if you wanted to, just to be a bit different, or you could put whatever, and for example, creative, put a star in between each one. And then what you're going to do is go around with your knife again, around the outside edge. Went around with your fork. Okay, this would also push down your strips a little bit more, obviously giving that professional finish, the professional edge. Now what will happen is your cake will rise like it would do normally. It's like a Victoria sandwich, and the strips will lift with it. And we're going to put it in for approximately 20 to 25 minutes. So I'll put it in for 20 and then give it an extra 5 if it needs it. In the middle shelf so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, and set the timer for 20 minutes. Okay, looking at your Bakewell tart after 20 minutes, again checking your pastry is dry and there's no damp areas around there. Your sponge is golden. We're ready for cutting our Bakewell tart.